Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. I have my sweet Simba with me today. Say hello to everyone. Yeah. And in today's video we are doing a Dollar Tree poof wreath. Now a poof wreath was originally made doing 21-inch deco mesh, but what you can do is you can substitute it with 2 rolls of the 10-inch deco mesh or 3 to 4 rolls of the Dollar Tree deco mesh. Mom's waving her hand and you're just like, I want my 5. Very good, Simba. We're going to use a wooden 8-inch little sign and we're going to have a stunning patriotic wreath. Let's get started. Let's go over the supplies for this wreath, and the most important thing is we are starting with 3 rolls of the Dollar Tree deco mesh. You can use up to 4 for this method, and they are all 6 inches in width and 5 yards in length. Next, I have some pipe cleaners. The sign for this wreath that I'm using is an 8-inch in diameter wooden sign that I got in Temu. It does have 2 holes because it had a little jute cord right here on top, but I'm going to add another hole at the bottom so we can stabilize the sign when we're going to add it to our wreath form. Because of the wooden tones in this wreath, I decided to go more for a country style wreath, meaning I'm bringing some burlap background ribbon. This is the one I got at SamsClub. You can of course use any type of ribbon. This one is 2.5 inches and wired, alongside with this denim blue one that I thought would accentuate the blue little flowers in here, also from SamsClub, 1.5 inches and wired. For our wreath base, I'm going to be using this 14-inch metal wreath form from the Dollar Tree, along with some floral wire, some zip ties, a placemat to cover the back of the wreath. And I'm also going to be adding some red roses. These are from the Dollar Tree, and I thought they would go so beautifully with the roses that are on the sign. For all my poof wreaths, I usually do the 18 pipe cleaner method. All that means is I'm going to have 3 pipe cleaners per section. There are 6 sections in the wreath form, which means I'm going to have a total of 18 pipe cleaners. To make it easier, I always look at it as 1 section at a time. My first pipe cleaner is going to go on rows 1 and 2. Twist in the center, and this pipe cleaner is going to face towards the inside. The second 2 pipe cleaners are going to go on row 3 and 4 to the left and right of our main pipe cleaner. Find my center, do a few twists, and I'm going to face this one towards the outside. Same thing with this one. Few twists, and let's face it towards the outside. I'm going to repeat this going all the way around. Now it's time to use our Dollar Tree deco mesh to make our poof base. Now, when I say to layer these, what I mean by this is we're going to take 1 roll, and I'm going to take red, white, red. Then I'm going to take the white one, and I'm going to layer it right over. And then I'm going to take the 3rd roll and layer that over. Now that I have it layered, we're going to attach it to our base. What we're going to do is attach it to one of the inside pipe cleaners, and then here I'm going to do 10-inch loops going all the way around until I get to the pipe cleaner that I started with. From here, I'm going to go flat to the outside row. You can go left or right, depending on if you're lefty or righty. Here, I'm going to attach a little zip tie just for a little bit of security. I'm going to make 9-inch loops going all the way around. And that's it. This is going to be almost the same as using the 21-inch deco mesh. If you use an extra roll of the 6-inch deco mesh, you are going to have an equivalent of 24 inches of deco mesh, which is just fine. But I know that I'm going to have more ribbon here and things like that. We're going to fill this in. Also, because this is a 5-yard roll, this should be enough for this wreath. And we're going to do just once on the inside, once on the outside. I think where the problem came in is when I said layered, a lot of people thought that I meant when you're using a 10-inch deco mesh, that one roll, and then you do twice on the inside, twice on the outside. And I called it the layered method because you're layering the deco mesh. This is different. We're just layering deco mesh here, and then we're doing once on the inside row and once on the outside. Let's do our little attachment. 2 tight twists. Grab a zip tie, and I'm attaching this little tail to row 2, about 1 inch from where we connected. And our tail is nice and secure here. Here's a little tip when you have a few rows. You want to lay out your deco mesh, go flat, and then you can use something like these little clips and then clip them. Go a little further, make sure it's nice and flat and layered beautifully. Go another 10, 15 inches, however long you can, and do another little clip. And I kind of do this from time to time. I don't do it the whole way, but you can definitely. And now we're going to do the poofs. Now, we are working with 5 yards at the most, so we are going to be careful when we're making our loops. The ones that are our inside loops are 10 inches, so I'm going to go nice and taut here. No loosey-goosey like this. Nice and taut from one side to the other. I got my 10 inches, and now I connect. And look at this, because of the clip, we have it nicely laid out. I'm going to move it down because I need my next 10 inches. Grab it, nice and taut. I have my 10 inches and connected to the next pipe. I'm going to do this going all the way around in the inner row. As you can see, I'm poofing them out the right way as I'm going along, making my last loop, attaching it on that first pipe cleaner where we started. Let's do a few good twists. From here, I'm going to go flat to the outside row. Just like this, nice and flat. Let's do a twist or two. Grabbing a zip tie, I'm going to attach this little transition piece on row 3. I feel like this is what keeps my loops on the outside in place from sliding. This is not going to slide anywhere. I don't hot glue any of my pipe cleaners, and I have done many of these wreaths, and they lasted for many years just by doing this little attachment. As you can tell, it's going nowhere. I'm going to take this next clip off, and now I'm going to continue making 9-inch loops on the outside of this row. Just like this, we have our 9 inches, and let's start attaching. I'm on my last loop on the outside row, and I wanted to show you how much deco mesh I have left from the 5 yards. And as you can see, I'm going to have a little bit left right here, but it's possible to use the Dollar Tree deco mesh to make this wreath. My loops on the inside are 10 inches, on the outside 9 inches, as I said, and I stuck to it really carefully, making sure that when I made my loops, I was keeping my deco mesh nice and taut, so I have nice, even little connections. Here you go. This is what is left. Let's cut this off and attach our last loop. Now, when I do this, the tail is going to go in between row 3 and 4, and I face it towards the inside, just like this, because I like to hide it at the same time as I am attaching it. Let's flip our wreath so you can see what I'm doing on this side. I'm going to grab another zip tie. This is zip tie number 3. I'm going to attach the tail to row 3. Cut off the tail. Our beginning zip tie, that middle section, and here is where I ended. The tails are all hidden and out of our way. The next thing I'm going to do is start opening up all my poofs. We are working with Dollar Tree deco mesh, so I am a lot more careful when I do this. Since I have red, white, red, I'm just going to do it in that order. So the way I like to do is from the bottom, I'm going to push it down. That is how I separate them. I'm going to push this one down and to the side. Then the next deco mesh roll, the white one, I'm going to push it down and separate the top from that one. And just like this, I didn't rip anything. I beautifully separated all the layers. And I'm going to go around. This is going to take me a minute or so. And I'm going to do that starting from the bottom. We're going to push it down and to the side. I do want to make sure that our deco mesh is intact when I'm doing this. So I find that pushing it down like this just works the best. Here we go, my friends. The wreath base is done. Look how full this base is. And yes, this is using 3 rolls of the Dollar Tree deco mesh, nice and full. Let's get started on the ribbon. We're going to cut that up, make little ribbon bundles next. I'm going to start with my denim blue ribbon, and I'm going to cut it at 11 inches. And now I'm going to zigzag my ribbon until I get 18 pieces at the 11 inches that we measured. And now I'm just going to fold the edges, cut a little triangle, making sure I cut the part where it bends, and then I have my dovetails ready to go. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Next, I'm going to use the gorgeous Patriotic ribbon with the pretty little stars. Same thing, I'm going to measure this at 11 inches, and I'm going to need 18 pieces. Just like with our 1.5 inch ribbon, I'm going to cut both of the sides by folding it in half and cutting out a little triangle so that we can get our little dovetails done just like this. The ribbon is ready. Now I'm going to bring the wreath back in, and all I'm going to do is grab my 2 ribbons, lay them one on top of the other, then find the center by just folding them in half and pinching. Now I have my center, and then I'm going to attach. I'm not planning on attaching anything else here, so I'm going to twist both pipe cleaners up, cut about 1 inch from the connection, and then fold and fold back. I'm going to do this to all 18 pipe cleaners. Finally, our wreath is starting to look very patriotic. We got some blue in there. We can see the stars. So beautiful. And I have one more little bundle to put on before we get our roses ready. When it comes to our roses, we are going to attach them to every other bundle because I only have 9 of them. Usually I like to open this at the end, but today we are going to start opening our bundles now because if I'm going to be attaching the roses, I want to make sure the bundles are ready. As always, I like to kind of swoop them up, open them up like a little flower, blue facing one way, the little stars facing the other way. Let's get the roses ready. I'm going to remove them from the stem, and I am going to keep the greenery. I'm going to hot glue it in the back just because in the sign we do have some of these leaves in there, and I think it's going to work nicely together. Now what I'm going to do is this plastic part on the leaves, I'm going to just pull it out so that it can lay right against the back of the rose. Hot glued that in place so the leaves are stable. And then when that's done, we're going to put lots of hot glue around the rose itself and attach it straight to a bundle. I'm going to skip one, and then the next one will go here. I got my 3 inside roses, and now I'm going to do the same thing on the outside. Just go every other and attach a rose. The roses are all attached, and I think they bring such a beautiful and elegant look to this wreath. I'm loving how they look with the blue. Now let's do the sign. And to tell you the truth, I am a little bit nervous about making the little hole at the bottom. So I'm going to go super slow. I'm going to use the tiny one. And I'm going to make it straight in the center. Oh my goodness. And you know what? That was really easy. Nothing to it. There's the little hole. There you go. I just used the crocodile. And then I'm going to bring in my floral wire. Now this is really thin. This is 26 gauge. I like to double it just to make sure that it's, you know, good to go. I'm cutting 3 pieces of wire at about 18" each. Going to fold the wire in half, put it in and twist in the back a few times. The wire is all attached, and now we can attach the sign to our wreath. Simba came to check out the little floral wires. Excuse me, Simba. I'm liking the way this looks. Let's flip it. Simba, are you going to help? What's going on here? Simba says no. I'm going to do a twist or two. I always like to go a little light before I really lock in that wire, just to make sure the sign is in the right place. Loving it. Now, the one thing I do want to make sure is that God Bless America is right there. And of course, Land That I Love. But this is on the edge here. So I'm going to work around it to make sure that the ribbon kind of fall nicely. This part's important. So I do want to make sure that the wording stands out. And I'm going to do this at the very end. Right now, since the sign is in the right place, I'm going to flip this over and really lock in those wires. Now that the sign is attached, I'm going to grab our placemat and I'm going to attach it to the back of the wreath using 3 little zip ties. And I just like to attach them in 3 places, doesn't matter where. And that's because we still have access to the back of the wreath in case we need it. After you attach it, make sure to send the little nub to the back. One right here and a third one. Now it's time for the final touches, which means I'm really going to work on poofing everything out. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. This wreath is all done and I'm loving the beautiful ribbon and the fact that we used Dollar Tree Deco Mesh as our base. We have some lovely ribbon and this gorgeous sign from Temu. What did you guys think of the wreath? I thought it turned out so beautifully and the roses turned out nice. Now in the comments below, I would love to know, when you make a poof wreath, what is your go-to deco mesh? Do you like using the 10", the 21", or like in this instant, the Dollar Tree Deco Mesh? Simba, did you want to say bye to everyone? Say bye. No, not hi. Say bye. Bye. And we will see you all in our next video. That's right.